following is a special presentation of TNN Motorsports. In a sport where time is measured in hundreds of seconds, the 6 weeks since Hickory have been eternity for the drivers and teams on the Busch Grand National Tour. Today, it's back to business at Nazareth Speedway, a strange combination of super speedway speed, short track action, and road course different left turns, where danger lurks around any one of those 5 oddly shaped corners. But that was last year. Today, everybody's ready to get their race face on. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nazareth, Pennsylvania, a unique 5-cornered oval that will test these Busch teams today. And they've had 6, and with the rain out at Loudon, 7 weeks off. I'm Mike Joy, standing with David Green, and it's been kind of David Green's dream season. Top of the points, top of the qualifying orders today. Things have gone just great.
Been perfect, Mike. My hat's off to all the Caterpillar racing team. Gave me a great race car week in and week out, and finally, it's just David Green has to do his job, and so far, so good. But we're enjoying our trip to Nazareth here, and I have to question you one thing. That's 6 corners here, not 5 and not 4, but 6.
And some drivers say 3. That's how unique this racetrack is. Now, yesterday, you qualified and practiced in overcast, cool weather. Today, it's nearly 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different, but I tell you, Goodyear's got us another great race tire here, and you know, the track's in good shape, and we're just kind of slip and slide in the heat today, but hopefully everybody will do a good job. I know my Caterpillar Chevrolet is awful good, and whether it's good cool conditions or hot conditions, so we got our fingers crossed.
All right, well, David on the pole is no surprise, but the man who's starting 4th, where did he come from? Steve Burns?
Mike, he comes from Emporia, Virginia, and his name is Sadler. Elliott Sadler, the younger brother of Busch Series regular Hermie Sadler. Elliott, you start 4th. The question is, can you win this race today?
We might if we stay out of trouble. Yesterday afternoon, the last practice, had a real good race car. We made a few laps with Randy and Mike, and if I can just stay out of trouble, you know, and I think we'll be okay at the end.
All right, well, best of luck to you, Elliott. Folks, let's take a look at some truck footage. Last weekend, in Monroe, Washington, Mike Bliss races to victory over Ron Hornaday. Crew Chief Barry Dodson coaching him to victory, and he'll be with Mike Joy today.
I'm standing here with Randy LaJoy. He's 2nd in points. He's starting 3rd today on the inside, a good spot. Randy, I've been around this track this morning in the pace car. It's awfully tough, awfully tight, not many places to pass. You're real aggressive. Are you going to attack this place, or how are you going to run this race?
Well, it depends on what this guy's giving me as far as a race car. I've had a good race car all week. We tested well up here. You know, the base motorsports group has given me some good race cars all year. If we get out in the front, I'm just going to run as fast as I need to. But if I got to chase somebody, I'm going to run it hard. It's kind of a fun racetrack. You got to keep all your marbles together because you got 6 or 7 turns. I'm not sure how many there are. I haven't figured it out yet. So, hey, we're gonna run as hard as we can. And what it gives us, we're going to take, and if we have to take a little more, we'll just pull the belts a little tighter.
Okay, good luck, and thanks a lot.
I love that. 7 turns. That's the most I've heard from anybody yet. It's a strange track, and folks, the weather this weekend has been stranger. We'll tell you about that right after this.
Today's exclusive coverage of the CoreStates Meridian Advantage 200 on TNN is brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil, controls volatility and fights vaporization. By the more than 1,300 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Purolator, to protect your engine. Remember, pure oil now, pure oil later. Purolator.
They're on the pace lap here at Nazareth, Pennsylvania, Andretti'ville, if you will. But home today to these full fendered cars and the NASCAR Modifieds in a doubleheader. Look at that, 87 degrees. It never broke 60 yesterday, and we never saw the sun, not through practice, qualifying, or happy hour. And right now, full sun and what could be a slick or a tight racetrack. Nobody knows. Let's have a look at the starting grid for today's race. David Green, the point leader on the pole. Mike McLaughlin starting alongside. Row 2, there's Randy LaJoy, second in the points, and Elliott Sadler. Row 3, Todd Bodine, who won here in '92, and Jeff Green. Larry Pearson, two-time champ, and Hermie Sadler, second at Hickory. Shane Hall had a good effort. He's 9th, and Curtis Markham, 10th in the points or rather 3rd in the points is 10th. Jeff Fuller and Jason Keller start in row number 6. Best start for Fuller in a while. Mark Green and Glenn Allen, the rookie leader, in row 7. Row 8 is Randy Porter and Mike Stefanik, the highest qualified Busch North driver. Jim Bowen and Kevin LePage in row 9. Kelly Moore, the Busch North champ, and Tommy Houston, row 10. Chad Little and Dennis Setzer in row 11. Row 12, defending champion of this race, Tim Fedowa, along with Jeff Purvis. Bill Parsons, 4th in the points, and Ron Thiel Jr. from Long Island. Buckshot Jones makes his 4th start of the season. Doug Hevron, runner-up here last year. Dick Trickle flew up from Charlotte late last night. He's 29th. And Jamie Obie, the former Busch North champ. Rodney Combs and Mike Dillon, the rookie. Tom Bowles from Connecticut, and Ted Christopher with 5 modified championships under his belt. Bobby Donner and Mike Laughlin Jr. makes his 2nd career start. Patty Moise and Mike Olson from Busch North. Dale Shaw, the '94 Busch North champion. Toshio Suzuki, the first Japanese Busch Series driver. And Jeff McClure and Joey McCarthy from New Jersey makes his Busch debut. They're the provisional starters. Drivers who did not make the show: Brian Donnelly, Bill Hoff, and Martin Truex crashed in practice and did not make a qualifying attempt. We'll be riding with Dick Trickle in the Duralube number 64, the Shoemaker Racing entry. There's a look out the windshield at this unique 5-cornered racetrack, and out the right side in the roof cam on Dick Trickle, who has not practiced. Tom Peck practiced and qualified that car. Rodney Combs in the Lance Snacks number 43 starts 31st today. As you see a view of the bridge and the far-off cement plant, Phil Parsons, the Channel Lock entry, rolls off 25th today. That's Ron Thiel just ahead to the right. Randy Porter in the UniFirst Sammy Kershaw entry. Randy had a good effort. He'll start 15th. Here's today's AutoZone race analysis, brought to you by the more than 1,300 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, best parts in auto parts. 42 cars will start this race. Over 200 laps on this 1-mile speedway. Chuck Bowen in 1991 set the race record. Coming around and looking for green. We're set to get the Busch Series back underway after a 6-week, somewhat of a vacation for some teams. The green is waved, and David Green is quick off the start. Quickly, everybody dives for the bottom groove and tries to get single file before turn 2. Good clean start. Under the bridge through 2. Out of turn 3 and onto the back straightaway. A long downhill backstretch. And into what we call turn 4 as Mark Green at 37 makes a pass on the inside. Turn 5 brings you around this long sweeper and back to the start-finish line. That's Jeff Fuller trying to move up underneath the 51 of Mike Stefanik. Barry, a big guessing game this morning as far as what setup to put under these cars, practicing in cool, cloudy weather and racing in the sun and the heat.
It has to be, Mike, and we were just talking about Dick Trickle. He might have the best setup. He can't complain. He hadn't been here to practice the car. Some guys say the track's going to tighten up. Some guys say it's going to get loose. We've got to wait and see.
Jeff Green in the good wrench number 3 works underneath Elliott Sadler, who has not been able to get down to the bottom of the racetrack in line. He'll slot in here. Sadler in that unsponsored number 46 car. Back straightaway. Older brother Hermie now right on younger brother's tail.
He's not about to tap him.
No, they own that car. Kelly Moore, the Busch North champ. Down on what looks like a rumble strip there in turn number 1. Actually, it's painted like a rumble strip. It's part of the groove. Through 2 and 3. That is rumble strip on the yellow down there to the inside. Out of 3 to the backstretch. Riding with Randy Porter. Bouncing into turn 4. And look at what a long sweeping turn this is before you come out of 5 and onto the front stretch. Turn 1, there's that little bit of yellow paint, but not rippled pavement. Here in turn 2 at the bridge. Keeps the car down pretty tight. way low coming out of turn number 3 there. Look at Tommy Houston trying to gain a little ground on the outside there on Kevin LePage. Farmer's Choice Fertilizer, number 88. Patty Moise, rather that's Mike Stefanik on the outside. Jason Keller underneath. Looking for a little racing room. There's Jeff Fuller. Rather, he was 47, but since Kelly Moore, the Busch North champ, has entered, Fuller had to give up his number. He runs 17 today, the same number that's on his brother Rick's modified later today. That battle between Keller, 57, and Stefanik, 51, continues. Boy, Jason just drove under him right under the bridge, and that's a tough place to pass. It's Todd Bodine, 81, the Cape Canaveral Cruise Line car. Under pressure. In the early going, it is certainly a one-groove racetrack.
It is, Mike, and they're trying to show patience. They stress that in the drivers' meeting. These guys have to go to Charlotte next week. Some of them are the same cars. Got to show patience. It looks like the only place you can really make a move and make any momentum's off turn 5 up here.
Phil Parsons tracking the number 40 Kleenex entry of defending race champ Tim Fedor. Different line entering 2 there. Fedor low. Parsons coming in, taking a later apex, if you will. He really liked to hug that ripple strip, and you saw Fedor's car get just a little loose there. Parsons, no room on the bottom there. Buckshot Jones in a 0-0, and Doug Hevron closing in. Seconds behind the race leader. David Green has been on the point since the start of this race. Randy LaJoie in second, Mike McLaughlin third. Todd Bodine runs in fourth, Jeff Green fifth, Hermie Sadler sixth, Larry Pearson, Elliott Sadler, Curtis Markham, all. Boy, Stefanik's car, Verna Boilers 51, just won't stay to the bottom of the racetrack there. Tommy Houston getting underneath.
Yeah, he's got to push. Tommy's had a good car. They lost an engine in qualifying second lap. He was much quicker than that. Might be a guy to watch today with a lot of experience.
Jeff Purvis, David Lee Murphy, number 4, dives underneath. James Finch and the Purvis crew did a few laps of yesterday afternoon practice, parked the car, hopped in the plane, went down to Charlotte for the Winston Select last night.
And they knew it was going to turn from 60 to 80.
No sense wearing it out in practice when the weather's going to change. Jim Bound on the Barbasol ride just ahead of Parsons now, back straight away. Up front, David Green in the Caterpillar 95 has had it all his own way. We have completed 12 laps, with Green leading Randy LaJoie, Mike McLaughlin, Todd Bodine, and Jeff Green, Hermie Sadler, Larry Pearson, Elliott Sadler, and Curtis Markham. We'll be right back. When you win the pole here in Nazareth, along with the Busch Pole Award, you get a brand new Martin guitar. Robert Hook made the presentation to David Green.
On behalf of Martin Guitar, Chris Martin, our chairman, and our 500 co-workers, I'm proud to present this handcrafted Martin acoustic guitar to David Green. It's been hand signed by all the drivers today, including David right up here near the top. So congratulations, David, and good luck in the race tomorrow.
Was that Thunder Road?
Yeah. Rory Calhoun.
I thought it was Robert Mitchum. I'll be darned. Elliott Sadler has brought out the first caution of the day. Slapped the wall coming out of turn number 3. A very tight corner. And Second time in. There it goes. Sadler has pitted. Steve is there.
Mike can't see much of the right side of the car, but we know that's where the majority of the damage is. Crew is also pulling the fenders out from the left side. We can see him tearing apart the right side sheet metal. Can't tell yet if any of the suspension has been damaged. We'll follow up and get right back to you.
Thanks, Steve. Looks like they're going to refit the right front tire, clear away sheet metal, and then have Elliott go out, run a couple laps under this caution, and see how the car feels. This is his 5th Busch Grand National start and his best qualifying effort ever. And it looks like they didn't get it all off, so he'll be back in. First caution of the day. We have completed 18 laps. Let's take a break here from Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Glad to have you with us today on the Nashville Network.
Today's exclusive coverage of the CoreStates Meridian Advantage 200 on TNN is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running.
In one lap, we'll go back to racing. Tom Bowles made a pit stop under that caution as they work on Elliott Sadler's car. Also, Joey McCarthy out of Randolph, New Jersey, making his first start in the Busch Series, made a stop, and it looks like it's going to take a little more than duct tape to get. Well, there's a few DeWalt power tools at work there, trying to get him back into the race. 19 laps complete, 1 caution so far. The Aquafresh ride of Buckshot Jones comes back in for a quick stop, and he is going to miss the green flag as he rolls slowly down pit road. And we'll try to get up to speed before the field comes by. We are back under green at Nazareth, Pennsylvania, with David Green, the pole sitter, hauling them around. 4 drivers broke the track record in qualifying: Green, McLaughlin, LaJoy, and Elliott Sadler. Well, Barry, they've had 15 laps to run here and see what the racetrack's going to be like under this hot, very sunny condition. They settled down into a 1-group running order pretty much, but what do you see from the way these cars are working?
Well, it seems like the good cars are still good. Some of them have their handful. Hermie's done a good job at moving up. He's gotten by Jeff Green, and Larry Pearson sitting back there. I think it's too early to tell. Goodyear's brought such a good tire, hadn't had enough time to give up yet if it's going to.
With this weather, do you expect these cars will tighten up or loosen up?
I'm hearing from the experienced drivers that they will tighten up, and it doesn't make a lot of sense for the sun to be out and a car develop a push. What they're talking about is the whole car will slide because you don't have any banking here.
No, a very, very flat racetrack. Steve has an update on Sadler's car. Be back with Steve in a moment. There's LaJoy. There's McLaughlin. Now Steve Burns. Steve?
Mike, I talked to Jeff Buckner, Elliott's crew chief, and he said that the toe-in has been knocked out. Also wanted to let you folks know at home, the crew chiefs here expect pit stops for gas at about 100 laps. That's as far as they can go, and they get 2 additional sets of tires to the one they're starting the race on.
So it could, if it times out right, be a one-stop race.
It could be. I don't think gas is going to be a factor from checking around this morning. Reason being, with what we see as 5 turns here, some drivers at 6 and 7, you're off the gas so much, it's not like you're running 100 miles on, full throttle. I don't think gas is an issue.
David Green on point, and you see Randy LaJoy right with it. Everyone this weekend has cautioned patience. You say patience to Randy LaJoy, he just kind of laughs.
He did. He was a great guy to ask about that.
He's closing up on David Green right here. Gaining a couple feet every corner. Let's pull back to the battle for 10th place. And even deeper yet in the field. Parsons a move, looking to the inside of Randy Porter, 2 of our onboard camera cars. Randy slides up the racetrack just a little bit. And back at the front. Now here's 10th place. That's Jeff Fuller in the Sunoco 17. There's Fuller. And quite a pack right behind him. And trouble on Fuller's car. He's dropped down to the inside. And off the pace after posting his best qualifying effort in some time. Now the 99 of Glenn Allen Jr. drops to the inside, and Allen's going to move up and grab the 10th spot.
Good move.
Nice pass at what people told us, Barry, is the place to pass here, going right into one.
Right.
Caught Shane Hall in that white unsponsored number 85 up to the top side of the racetrack. Now Tommy Houston, with a lot of folks here from Suburban Propane to watch Tommy run. They're headquartered near here, underneath Shane Hall, who drops in line.
A lot of experience with Tommy. Like I said, he looked great yesterday and lost an engine qualifying. Still had a good run, so we look for him to be up front.
Tommy won the pole for this race in 1989, the second year it was run. Kevin Page just ahead of him in the Farmer's Choice, number 88. Kevin making his second start with Riddling Motorsports. Finished 17th here last year. LePage has come from 18th up to 11th. Let's go back up front. David Green still with Randy LaJoie in tow. And a little of a gap back to McLaughlin. And the number 1 of Hermie Sadler and Todd Bodine. Hermie has moved up pretty well. Up now into 4th position after starting 8th.
Yeah, Hermie thinks he's got a good car. It looks like Fuller went behind the wall.
There you see them cutting across in turn 1 and in the wall. Rodney Combs, did he get the wall?
Looked like
he may have. Trouble on the Lance Snacks, number 43, as you ride with Combs. Kind of feeling it out there. See if he stays out or chooses to pit.
Yeah.
The car went way up the racetrack, and I couldn't tell if he slapped the wall or not.
He missed a good chance, Mike, if he didn't.
You're right. Elliott Sadler's back on pit road. There's Sadler making that stop. A lot of damage to the right front of that car. Rodney Combs just went by our vantage point, and I don't see any damage.
I think he missed it.
No. Lap traffic begins to come into play. At number 50 is Jeff McClure, the Health Source 4 to Bobby Jones. And that'll put a little distance between Green and Randy LaJoie in the Phenol Loop 74. Moving around Tom Bowles in the Bowles Chrysler Plymouth, number 76. Busch North drivers who made the show. Let's show you again what happened to Rodney Combs here. Man.
That's definitely infield. Grandstand. Whoa.
If he got the wall, he just touched it. But it looked like Ron Thiel of Levitt's Furniture 87 might have gotten into the back of Combs. But there's Rodney. He's still out there. Right behind Mike Olson in the little trees. Number 61.
Turn 4. Turn 5.
A big one. 2 cars around. Mike Laughlin Jr. as the car stopped down to the inside. Joey McCarthy, number 11, in the Rent-A-Wreck. Yes, folks, it really says Rent-A-Wreck on McCarthy's car, and Rodney Combs was in it. So that'll bring out the caution for the second time. It's lap 34. The best passing place, drivers tell us here at Nazareth, is to drop under a driver there at turn 5 and get a run down the front straightaway. And that type of move may have led to this second incident of the day.
They were double file. It's one of the places you can get there and try to make a pass to get your speed up for the front straightaway. The only really safe place to pass, and they just got in trouble.
Pit road is open. And we'll take a break from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, and be right back with you on a beautiful sunny Sunday with Busch Series Racing live on TNN. Welcome back to Nazareth. Mike Joy with Barry Dodson and Steve Burns as Rodney Combs makes a pit stop. So did Mike Laughlin Jr., Bobby Donner, and Buckshot Jones. Here's what happened. Turn 5. This camera's located right near the start-finish line. Mike Laughlin Jr. goes around. And in the aftermath, Rodney Combs gets tangled up with yet a third car. Dale Shaw also stopped with damage. Joey McCarthy was that third automobile involved. We are back under green. And again, quickly, they try to settle down single file. Let's go back to the garage area, Steve.
Mike with Jeff Fuller, who has just climbed from the Sunoco Chevy. Jeff, another tough break for you. You just can't seem to buy a break this year. What put you out today?
Yeah, it was. You know, the Sunoco Chevrolet was running real good. I think we had a motor problem. I didn't even have a chance to mess my hair up.
Well, you look good anyways. We're sorry you're in the garage.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough deal, but, you know, Charlotte's next week. We went down there and tested, and I think we're getting the program back together. It's just unfortunate, but we'll be back.
All right, best of luck.
They did a lot of chassis work over the last 4 to 6 weeks, and Fuller qualified 11th. He's back in 24th in the points. Dale Shaw, former Busch North champ, with damage to the front end of that car, the ocean spray. Entry back on pit road. Riding with Dick Trickle. And the number 64 Duraloop Chevy. Front straightaway here. Dive down into turn number 1. Running in 31st position. Turn 2, the bridge. You see the warm-up lane down to the inside there as he cuts across a little bit of grass there at turn 3 and into the back straightaway.
Yeah, he looks a little loose off. You know, they already got him a lap down, and he just needs some time to work on it.
Now, folks, loose off is crew chief talk. It means the car is getting loose coming off the corner. But a lot of those words don't matter. Loose off, that's all you need to say.
It means the trunk's trying to pass the hood.
Exactly. Trickle pulls down on Mike Dillon, rookie driver in the Detroit Gasket 72, and now moves up on Ron Thiel, one of 6 Busch North entries in this race. Even on the radios, the cars dance around a good bit here.
They do dance around without banking, and it's such a smooth surface. They're really not into the racetrack, and that's where air pressure comes in. As the race goes on, each crews will stop. They'll start dropping a pound out, and if it's better, they'll go another pound and try to get some grip.
Freight train racing. Trickle moves up on the outside of Ron Thiel. Remember, Trickle had no practice time. 13, the Les Care Kitchens car, Teddy Christopher. Out of Connecticut. Driving for Ted Marsh, another of the Busch North regulars. And he's got a string of modified championships up north. And now this is Kelly Moore just ahead. Busch North champ in the Tic Tac Pennzoil Pontiac. Trickle, the first 20 laps of this race, looked like he was going straight backwards, but now that car's working well.
A lot of savvy there, and maybe it was just having to get used to it and having confidence in it with some of these blind corners, you know, just get comfortable in the car. He's moving up with it right now.
That's the other tough thing about Nazareth. This place drives like a street circuit. You enter a corner and you cannot see out the other side. Caution is out. Third time today.
Don't see it, Mike, right now.
Now we'll await word from NASCAR next door. 44 laps complete. David Green has led everyone. Randy LaJoie in second. Mike McLaughlin third. In fourth is Hermie Sadler, and fifth Todd Bodine. No change in the front 5 as we go to break. We'll be right back. It's a big weekend of live motorsports here on TNN. Right after our telecast, Trans Am style racing, the Sunoco Ultra 94 Classic. From Ontario, Canada, Ron Fellows, Dorsey Schrader. The rest of the Trans Am warriors on the road course next. Here at Nazareth, Pennsylvania, caution is out for debris on the racetrack at turn number 2. The safety crew was out picking it up. Gave a couple of drivers the opportunity to make pit stops, and we're ready to go back to green. We talked at the top of the show about David Green's dream season. He has started on the pole and led every lap here. Randy LaJoie, is he biding his time? What do you think, Barry?
Randy's got his hands full. You know, David looks good. Randy looks good. A lot of cars. Hermie, Tommy Houston's moving up. Green flag. Here we go.
Back under Green at lap 46. Moving underneath the lapped number 50 of Jeff McClure. And that'll create some distance as it takes McLaughlin a little longer time to get by than the first two cars. Hermie Sadler, Todd Bodine moving up on the lapped car, but for now it's a two-car breakaway. Bodine in 81 and Jeff Green in the number 3 at a tough place to pass down there.
McClure made it tight.
Yep. Going into turn 4.
Oh, turn
Trouble.
5.
One car hard in the wall. And about 4 more receive some damage as a result. Big Trickle hand in the air to get through there safely. For everybody to check up.
Everybody made it away but one.
That's Ted Christopher. Former Stafford modified champ out of Plainville, Connecticut, in the Les Care Kitchen Chevrolet. Was the car that got turned up and into the wall at turn 5. There's Ted, one of twin brothers that compete in the modifieds, and Ted on the Busch Series as well. There's Kelly Morris, number 47. Somebody didn't check up in time.
No. They got spotters too right above them up there, and it's good if something happens somewhere else, but right below them, you know, it could cause a lot of calamity.
Well, it's hard to have a one-car accident here. You see, when one car gets sideways, that track gets very narrow in a big hurry. Tough break for Ted Christopher. We'll be right back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania, where David Green has led every one of the 49 laps so far. Welcome back to Nazareth. Brand new, not available in any store until Tuesday. Getting out the good stuff. David Lee Murphy's brand new CD on the heels of a CD that produced a couple of hits and a #1 record and got you out here to sing the national anthem today.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. We're really happy to be here. This is our first time with the album cover of Getting Out the Good Stuff on the hood of Jeff's car, and we're just really excited to be here. We got a great crew and a great team, and Jeff Purvis he's been doing a great job for us all year. We're happy to be in Nazareth.
Well, last night a great show in Philadelphia. David Lee Murphy along with Tracy Bird and Brooks and Dunn, and when you did Dust on the Bottle, the place just went up. Folks just love that song.
Well, we sure appreciate everybody coming out and getting into the songs with us. It's a lot of fun. You know, we do Party Crowd and Dust on the Bottle, and everybody gets right in there and sings along with us, and we have a lot of fun.
Well, neat deal, and good to have you here and involved with Jeff and the team. They went to see the Winston Select last night. Come back up here, and what kind of pre-race encouragement did you have for him?
I just, you know, Jeff's a great driver. He doesn't need very much help. I just keep my fingers crossed for him, and I know he's going to do a great job.
We're going to see you in one of these Legends cars. Have you got the itch to get behind the wheel?
Yeah, I do. I tell you what, I'm like a kid too. You know, I get in those things, and it's a lot of fun. I drove in the first celebrity race Mark Colley had down there 2 years ago, and we're going to do it again this October, I believe, and looking forward to it.
That was great fun. I can't wait to go back. Maybe Barry will come down and crew chief for us down there.
Yeah, we'll try to, and I tell you what, there's more to tune on these things than 6 strings. How do you like it?
Yeah, it's a little bit more dangerous on these than being a guitar picker. I got a lot of respect for these drivers and these teams out here because they put a lot of work into this stuff, and I'm just really happy to be able to be a part of it.
Well, the only thing more fun than working for TN and helping these guys is listening to you guys on TN.
Thank you.
Well, come on in and visit with us a bit. We're going to go down to the pits and Steve Burns.
Mike, you just talked about how David Green is experiencing a dream season. He has led every lap of this race. In his pits, consulting is Kurt Shelmerdine. You may remember him as Dale Earnhardt's former crew chief, led Dale to many championships. Well, Kirk was in Charlotte last night as well. He ran in the ARCA race, finishing 4th. Also want to update you on the 99 car. Glenn Allen Jr. is reporting heat from the floorboard. Glenn Allen Jr., a rookie who is 6th in the point standings, is experiencing some problems. The leaders, again, still have not fitted.
Thanks, Steve. Barry, as we expect, it'll probably be up near 100 laps before we see them on pit road, depending on how the cautions fall.
Yeah, they don't want to use those tires as long as they got gas mileage left.
Of the top 19 starters in this race, 13 of them had never won on the Busch Grand National Circuit, so interesting crowd here today. 1 to go. David Green, Randy LaJoie, Mike McLaughlin in 3rd. 4th, Hermie Sadler. 5th, Todd Bodine. 6th, Jeff Green. That has not changed. 7th now is Larry Pearson. 8th, Jason Keller. 9th is Glenn Allen. And showing up now in the 10th spot, Kevin LePage. Then it's Tommy Houston. As we get ready to roll with Green next time by. We even get the tires cleaned off there, and Rodney Combs moving up in a position in the outside lane as he has gone a lap down. There are 31 cars remaining on the lead lap. Kind of ride along with Rodney on the restart here and see how this lap traffic sorts out.
Rockin' Rodney.
Pace car begins to stretch out the field, takes that little access road down to the pit lane, and here they come to the front straightaway. We're back under green. Combs in a tough spot to try to get that lap back as both Green and LaJoie have him pinned to the outside.
2 good cars and another one coming.
Mike McLaughlin. McLaughlin sneaking up the inside. And LaJoie makes a feint to the bottom. He's going to try it. And Green has to give him room.
He does.
Oh, now that's a tough place to pass going into 4.
A lot of respect there. 1st and 2nd points, you saw it.
Randy LaJoie on the restart. Puts the nose of the Base Motorsports Phoenix Chevrolet in the wind. And it's David Green's turn to sit in 2nd for a while.
Yeah, it is. He's going to see what Randy's got now.
Running 1 and 2 in the points. LaJoie trails by 166 points to Green. And Mike McLaughlin, who crashed out of 3 races and is trying to rebound from 19th in the point standings going into today's race. This has been a good racetrack for McLaughlin.
Yeah, Hermie, you got Hermie back there trying to get by Rodney. Looks like he's moving out of the way now for these cars.
Walt Tools #1 of Sadler works underneath, and here comes Todd Bodine. You can see the pass by Rodney Combs. That pass into turn 3 is a good example of the give and take Ray Hill talked about in the drivers' meeting. David Green's up high. Spotter tells him that LaJoie is coming. LaJoie has the line in there. Green gave him just enough room to get by and dropped right back in.
Yeah, Ray was funny. He said, you know, I can go out and crash one of these cars. It takes one of you guys to bring one home and bring it to Charlotte next week. He put a lot of emphasis on taking care of equipment today and showing patience.
Parsons down to the bottom. Lapping past the number 50, Jeff McClure. Parsons in 17th position. From the bridge at turn 2. Rodney Combs now trying to fend off Jason Keller. Here comes Keller and Glenn Allen.
Rodney's got his hands full with that car right now.
Yep. Those are the 9th and 10th place cars going by. And Allen had to lift just a little. Here comes 88 down on the bottom trying to make the pass. Kevin LePage. Thought a little better of it. Right idea, maybe not the right place or right time. Tommy Houston's right there as well. Trailing this group, there's Chad Little, the John Deere 23. And there's Jeff Purvis. David Lee Murphy, #4. Talked to James Finch this morning. Had to be kind of tough to get all that artwork on the hood of that car and have everything come out right.
Yeah, I stayed up all night painting that.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm glad you got a new CD with a new title, because we'd hate to say there's Jeff Purvis going out with a bang.
I promised
that
Jeff,
would be expensive.
I promised Jeff after Talladega that we would take that out with a bang off there, and we've got the getting out the good stuff on there now, and we're really excited that I was telling you earlier, this is the first race that we've had getting out the good stuff album cover on the car, and the album comes out Tuesday, so we're hoping it brings us good luck today.
Hey, Here's your Napa Field Standing Update, brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running. Here's how they're running. Jeff has anything to say about it? Your next CD is going to have to be titled Into the Winner's Circle.
Yeah.
Or something like
Past
that.
the checker flag.
Yeah,
Or something like
yeah,
that.
we'll come up with something.
Maybe that'll be next year's car.
Maybe. Randy LaJoie leads for the first time since Rockingham on the Busch Grand National Circuit. He led a lap at Daytona and led 3 laps at Rockingham. And a lot of folks in the garage thought he'd be one of the cars to beat here. Saw his dad, Don LaJoie, many-time champion at the old Danbury Race Arena, now shopping mall.
I'm not sure any of the top 4 cars can't lead. They all look good, but they're trying to take care of those tires, so they got 2 sets left.
Oh, sideways. Who was that with a handful? 41 of Jamie Obey. Somebody had gotten into the back of that car earlier and scrunched it up. And Obey's going to visit pit road. Last ran here at Nazareth in 1992. Former champ of the Busch North Tour. Watch the white car on the right side of your screen.
That's a 9.5 right there, Mike.
That's looser than loose. He'll take on right side tires. 66 laps complete. Randy LaJoie leads from David Green, Mike McLaughlin, the number 1 of Hermie Sadler, Todd Bodine, Jeff Green, Larry Pearson, and Jason Keller.
Today's exclusive coverage of the CoreStates Meridian Advantage 200 on TNN is brought to you by the more than 1,300 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
69 laps complete. Shane Hall, the former All-Pro Series driver out of South Carolina, just had a big moment at turn number 5. As Buddy Baker would say, he started the wreck, he just didn't finish it. Everybody got through okay. Let's have a look at it. It's a white car, number 85. Around, grab a gear, and go. Chad Little checking up. Right side of your screen. Hall very fortunate that Dennis Setzer did not collect him. That was the red car that came through. So a couple of incidents that have not prompted the caution here, even though we've had 3. 70 laps complete.
Okay, Randy jumped a little sideways that lap off turn 5.
Pulling up on the Japanese driver, number 9, in the Joe Bessie car, Toshio Suzuki. Put him a lap down. This battle is for 6th place. Larry Pearson, the Stanley Tool Chevy, Jason Keller, and Glenn Allen, the rookie.
Hats off to him. Great run so far.
Right back of them, Kevin LePage, in only his 2nd drive for this race team. In the 88 car, holding 9th position and closing on this group. Keller took a peek inside Pearson on the front straightaway that time. See if lap traffic will play a role here. Now this group of cars running just a short straightaway behind the leader. Lap car moves to the inside. There's the number 11 down to the bottom of Joey McCarthy. I suppose if you were a company called Rent-A-Wreck and you came and sponsored a stock car, everybody would have to remember that. But would you want a crew chief that car saying Rent-A-Wreck? I mean,
no.
Yeah, it's good marketing, but I guess bad superstition. How's that?
And it's already documented too.
Yeah, right. But good luck to them. Working their way around Kelly Moore, and this group of cars is 8 seconds behind the leader. I can think of a couple of drivers they could sponsor where it would just be a natural tie-in.
It would be.
6th through 9th place right here. Pearson, Keller, Allen, and LePage. Barry, you folks come back here next month with the Craftsman Truck Series.
Yes, we do.
And this was your first look at Nazareth Speedway.
I tell you what, it paid great dividends watching it on television. You get a great view, but once you get here and see the place and ride around it, it's been a tremendous help to come up and help you guys.
Keller may have a run here coming out of turn 3. He came off the corner a little lower than Pearson, but Larry's carrying a lot of power down that back straightaway. Let's see if out of turn 5, Jason will drop it underneath. Boy, he wants to.
Yeah, this could get good.
Looks like Keller is quicker through the middle of the corner, but Pearson gets a better run down the straightaway. Well, Larry a little wide there. Jason may have the room he needs. Keller has the room.
Yeah, he gave it to him.
And has the spot. Glenn Allen and Kevin LePage are going to capitalize.
That's experience too from Larry. He knows this is a tough place to finish, and they need to do that. Glenn Allen's wanting to go.
I tell you, I am impressed with him.
And there he goes.
6th in the point standings. Bill Papke had a big smile on his face this morning. Here's his driver, rookie season. 6th in the points already.
A lot of experience there with the character there, David Ift.
David Ift is a character, is that what you said?
He is a character.
Oh, gosh. Longtime crew chief. Man about town. And he and Glenn Allen are just really clicked. Well, here comes LePage. He gets underneath Keller. Nobody's able to lead this group for very long, and look at Tommy Houston right up there.
Look at the veteran just hanging right in, saving his tires.
And this time it's Keller's turn to let him go at turn 1. He drifts to the back of that pack.
I talked to Ryan Pemberton. If he had a fear at all about the hot weather, he thought they would get loose. Maybe that's what's happening.
Pearson just waved Tommy Houston to the inside. Waved him by.
He's going away. You know, we're like 20 laps from halfway.
Keller's car made that pass on Pearson and then just suddenly advanced to the rear. Randy LaJoie putting Ron Thiel a lap down and pulling up on Mike Dillon. As we have 80 laps complete here at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. You're watching Busch Racing live on TNN. Stay with us on TNN Motorsports today after the Sunoco Ultra 94 Trans Am. Stay tuned for the NHRA Mopar Nationals. They're at Englishtown, New Jersey at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Lots of motorsports coming your way live on TNN, the Nashville Network today. Tommy Houston running right out in front of the Joe Bessie car, Toshio Suzuki from Saitama, Japan. Behind the wheel, the first Japanese Busch Grand National driver in NASCAR. Kenji Momota ran in the Craftsman Truck Series last year, but the first Japanese driver in the top level of NASCAR racing back in the early 1950s. George Tett was his name. He was out of Ozone Park, New York. His real name was Tetsuo Fujigami. He was a modified star in the Northeast and drove an occasional what was then Grand National race.
Now that is a fact nobody knew.
Rick Fielding did. And I'd heard of George Tett from the modified folks up north. Never saw him run, but saw his name at the top of the list and a lot of race results. Dennis Setzer has been, well, the tea has been brewing. Here he comes from 22nd to 11th in the Brad Aikens Bob Sutton car. There's a look at Setzer. He said they worked hard in those last 6 weeks to try to get things going in the right track again. They missed the show at Atlanta, Bristol, and at Hickory, where he'd won 2 years before. He's running well today. Randy LaJoie, your race leader. David Green keeping close tabs on him. There's Green. Mike McLaughlin, Hermie Sadler, Todd Bodine. Snarling pack of traffic now. The leader's coming up on Mark Green, the middle brother. David's the oldest. Jeff is the youngest. Mark gives way as the leaders come by. That's Mike Stefanik still working in that outside groove, and the Burnham number 51 midst of that pack. Shane Hall, 85, just ahead of the leader. And up on the outside, Markham. Markham qualified well and practiced really well today, but he's about to go a lap down.
He's got problems. I think he's already used 1.5 sets of tires, and that's not good.
Not at this juncture. 91 of 200 laps completed. Dropping to the inside for David Green. And now the leader about to put a lap on the Lysol Pontiac of Markham. What a great season Curtis has had. 3rd in the points. Just 223 back of David Green. They were quick in practice.
Yeah, they were.
Tommy Houston, car starting to wiggle out from under him just a bit. Let's check in his pit. Steve?
Guys, you mentioned about Tommy Houston earlier. He started 20th. He's worked his way up to 9th. You see Mike McLaughlin's having problems. We'll follow up on that. I know Barry Dodson can elaborate on Tommy Houston. Tommy's son Scott has rejoined the team as a crew chief after spending time with Darrell Waltrip. Barry knows this team has really prepared for this race, and it's showing.
Yeah, I talked to Scott this morning, and it's helped to get back together. And the biggest thing is now with Suburban Propane and this being home to them, Tommy told me, in fact, they had the dollars to do the research to buy the things to get competitive again, and it's showing.
Mike McLaughlin cut down a right front tire. Steve Hellwig comes around with the jack. Clyde McLeod and team get set to change that right front. Trouble turn one car sliding on its roof toward turn 2. That is Shane Hall.
Shane Hall, Mike Laughlin Jr.'s in it. His car seems to be okay.
The former All-Pro driver from Simpsonville, South Carolina, that was such a star of TNN Winter Heat 2 years ago, got turned around in turn number 1 and went on his lid. Shane is okay. He had a couple of runs with Dick Brooks's Winston Cup team. That's the uniform he's wearing. Trying to hook up and make it here in Busch Grand National Racing. And what a wild ride that was.
What a wild ride. We got to bring the trucks here.
I'll tell you, he is an enthusiastic young fella. He's got a lot of raw talent, and he is a comer, but he has got the crowd on his feet today for the wrong reason. And he is okay. Climbed out of the car. Now you see him walking across the racetrack and looking back up track to see what happened.
Yeah. Great young talent there.
He's got a future.
Opportunity.
Yep.
Yeah, great future.
Richard Lassiter, former Busch Series driver, is the new crew chief on that entry this year, and it's sadly a short day for Shane Hall. So we're under caution here at Nazareth. We'll be right back. Cleanup continues here at Nazareth. To flip Shane Hall's car over, they first must get it out from under the bridge. Here, hook onto it, flip it back over, and then load it either into, well, load it into the hauler. So I think that's all that car is going today.
He will not be at Charlotte with that car.
Nope. Sad to say. Time for our Pep Boys driver profile. Pep Boys for quality parts, tires, and service. Leading rookie on the tour, Glenn Allen Jr., son of a well-known racer in the Midwest. I asked him how he got his start in stock car racing.
Well, my father raced at Queen City Speedway, a half mile in Cincinnati, for probably 15 so years, and was track champion here quite a bit. And him and my uncle decided to buy me a mini stock, which was a 4-cylinder Vega at that time at age 13, and started racing from there and kind of snowballed in effect. When I turned about 17, I started running the ASA series full-time, and ran there for the last 6 years full-time, and got a lot of experience and just got the right call. last season probably was our best. We were runner-up points, second in the points, won a race at the Milwaukee Mile, had a very consistent, a lot of probably 10 top 5 finishes. We had an awful good race team. We just came up short on winning the championship, and got a call from Bill Papke, and with Bill Papke and the J&J racing team and with Luxair all together, it was just a great opportunity for me to do it, and had to jump on it.
Allen says he's here to learn, but his rookie status is not reflected in the points. He's 6th overall, making it look like the transition to Busch racing was an easy one.
Well, I don't know about how easy, but we determined to come in to make all the laps we possibly could this year, finish all the races, learn the first half of the year. For the second time we go back to all these racetracks, we'll be better and more competitive. And for us since Daytona, we've run every lap but 7 at all these racetracks. We've lost 7 laps during the whole period of time. So I think, our hats off to our J&J race team and Luxair.
One of the surprises of this season, and a pleasant one, Glenn Allen Jr., leading rookie and 6th in the point standings for that team led by David Ift. Cleanup continues. There's a look at Jeff Purvis toting around the new colors of Getting Out the Good Stuff. A little bit of a ding there in the front of that hood, but just about chin level.
I have to go get that can of spray paint I got.
It's not a ding, it's a dimple, okay? Little one on the right rear corner too. I understand you had an offer from James Finch, the car owner, to put you to work down there today.
I'm hiding from him right now. Yeah, they put me to work at Talladega and Daytona, and I know if I get over there, they'll have me doing something. They had me holding tires, and I got to hang out the pit arrow. We've got a little pit arrow that shows Jeff when he comes around into the pit so he'll know where to pull in. And they had me holding that. It really is a lot of fun.
Well, that's fair.
I'll be down there in a minute anyway. I like to go down there with guys, and the crew are they're just good friends too. We have a real good time hanging out, and I'm sure they'll put me to work before the day's over with.
Can Jeff sing?
I don't know if he can sing or not. I wouldn't be surprised if he couldn't. I'll belt out a good old honky-tonk song every now and then. But
take him on tour and put him to work.
I might do that.
Some of those crew guys, they make good roadies. I mean, lift, carry, nut, bolt.
They were going to come to the show last night at Philadelphia with Brooks and Dunn, and they got busy here at the track and couldn't make it over. So hopefully we'll see him down the road somewhere. And we'll see if Jeff can sing. Maybe he'll sing Party Crowd with us or something.
Well, I know he can party.
Well, they all can.
That's right.
That's why we work so well together.
I have heard Jeff sing, and I told him, I said, you should be on stage, the next one out of town.
Hey, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you, Mike.
Singing the national anthem for the folks. And
we appreciate it.
Last night was a great show. I know you and Brooks and Dunn are going to have a great summer season. We'll see you on tour.
Well, thanks for having us.
The new single is Every Time I Get Around You, and it's on Getting Out the Good Stuff on MCA CDs and tapes, and you can buy it Tuesday. Here's a little listen to it as we go to break.
Those wheels start turning round, honey, when you walk into the room. The rest of
102 laps on the board at Nazareth, just past halfway. So our Stanley Tools mid-race report brought to you by Stanley since 1843. Stanley's been helping people do things right. Pole sitter David Green and Randy LaJoie are the only drivers to lead this race. The average speed at the midpoint slowed down by Shane Hall's collision. 93.8 miles an hour, 5 cautions for 22 laps, and they are still cleaning up from Mr. Toad's wild ride down there at turn 2. Oh, somebody has been to see Pat Sanders at the souvenir trailer, I see. And Barry, I think you're right. I doubt that car will be at Charlotte.
It will not be at Charlotte, and fuel's becoming more out of the question now because the pace car is taking them around the warm-up lap, during these caution laps. The caution laps are going to help, and I tell you what, Goodyear's brought an excellent tire. I hope it's the same one we get
for the truck race at the end of next month. Let's go down and recap those midpoint pit stops. Here's Steve.
Well, guys, all the leaders came in, and everyone without exception changed 4 tires. Now I need help from Barry Dodson. Barry, you got to help me figure this out. I went to Randy LaJoie's crew chief, Steve Bird, affectionately known as Birdie. I said, did you guys make a chassis adjustment? And he said, nah, just air pressure. And I said, well, did you take it out? Did you add it? And he goes, yeah, we took some out and we put some in. So I'm trying to weed through all this. You know, he can be cryptic and play it close to the vest. He said he added air pressure to the right side and took it out of the left side. Finally, he said, yeah, we were pushing.
Yeah. The air pressure works like a spring. It's the best tuning tool you have right now with a radial tire. And
well, Birdie's from New Hampshire, and you know those Yankees, they don't give up confidence as easily, Steve, but keep after him. Last year, this race was a wild one. Show you some of the highlights. Down there, 3 into turn 4 won't go no matter how much dirt track experience you have. And when one car gets sideways and everybody checks up, half of them go around and half of them pile in, it seems. Tough spot there, turn 3. Dave Dion in the 29 got around. Robbie Crouch and the rest of the cars with no place to go. Now, an in-car view of that same incident. Uh-oh, a lot of smoke ahead. Where do I go? Infield. No, grandstand. Infield. Grandstand. Infield. Made it. That was Elton Sawyer. It's a very narrow racetrack when one car gets across it.
it is.
104 laps complete after pit stops. David Green leads. Randy LaJoie, Hermie Sadler, Jeff Green, and now Chad Little on a quick pit stop has come up to 5th place. Let's have a look at today's Innovation in Motion feature brought to you by Peerless Faucets. Get more out of your faucet than just water. Here's Barry.
We're in Hermie Sadler's DeWalt Chevrolet. He's got an added tool, but it didn't come from DeWalt. It came from Laughlin. If you've got a Laughlin car or even a truck, here's what it is. There's a slug right behind that nut and bolt. It changes the anodive or caster gain or how this truck enters a corner, rolls through the middle of the corner, and exits a corner. It's a simple slug. It's just a difference in the location of the holes. You see his crew chief, John's got them right here. You see the difference? You knock one out, put the other one in, it can change the characteristic of the car dramatically.
Little extra tuning tool.
Not from DeWalt, but it sure works.
It sure does. Hermie got out 3rd, picked up a spot in the pits.
Yeah, you got McLaughlin up here now. He might have the capability of getting that lap back.
Chad Little came all the way up to 5th place on those pit stops. I wonder if he might have taken on 2 tires to have a quick stop.
He should not have.
Yeah, I would agree. 95 laps to go as the green flag waves. And it's a whole new race with new tires on all of these cars. And David Green leads them around the 1 mile here at Nazareth. Still double wide for most of this pack. Mike McLaughlin having a look on the outside. And that didn't work. And McLaughlin is now 2 laps down. Remember, he cut down a right front tire while running in 3rd position. Glenn Allen around the outside. Number 61 of Mike Olson, the Little Trees car. After Olson. Burgess tries to move up and under Mike Dillon. And they're going to have to get by Olson first.
Looks like Jeff Green had a good pit stop, too, to move up.
You got a little pin there behind a lap car just there, going under the bridge. But yes, Jeff Green now in 5th place. Todd Bodine lost 4 spots on his pit stop. He dropped back to 8th. Now on this set of tires, David Green's opening up some advantage on LaJoie. And they have a good bit of distance on Sadler. So we'll stay here in mid-pack. Glenn Allen Jr. in that black Lux here, number 99. He is the 10th place car. Here is Green, you see, all alone.
If LaJoie got tight a while ago, he may be a little loose right now and get better as the run goes on. We'll have to wait and see.
As hot as it is, Barry, would you think the racetrack would come to him? Is that what they're hoping?
Yes, that's what they're hoping. And they probably took air out of the left rear tire and put it in the right rear.
Trickle finds his way past, and here comes Purvis.
Good run for Jeff. First time being here. Just a great job.
Kelly Moore is a lap down. You see the damage on the Tic Tac Pontiac.
Kind of rhymes.
Give the dog a bone. And there's Phil Parsons trying to break through the race traffic. He'll be the 13th place. Excuse me, 15th place. Tommy Houston right with him, and Tim Fedowa. Last year's winner for Fedowa. Kleenex number 40. Driver change on Ron Thiel's car. Thiel at Jennerstown, Pennsylvania 2 weeks ago. First time the Busch North cars had run mufflers there, and Thiel burned both the heels on both feet pretty badly. So he has climbed out of the car, and Elliott Sadler is in the Levitz number 87 in relief of Ron Thiel.
Oh, he had his hands full right there in turn 5.
Starting to loosen up a little bit. Mike Dillon and Rodney Combs making the pass on Kelly Moore. That is for position for 20th spot. All those cars racing one lap down. And it gets a little crowded there as Doug Hebron trades sheet metal with Mark Green. In 75, Mark Green in the 37 Timberwolf car. And in amongst them, I think that's Jim Bound in the 5, Arkansas. Number 5. Hebron again. Food Country Ford. Tom Bowles, 76, right with him as they work underneath Kelly Moore. 85 laps to go here at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Busch Series back in action after a 6-week layoff. Counting the rain out of New Hampshire last week. Mike Stefanik, former modified champ, up on the outside of Tom Bowles there. Here's your race leader, the Caterpillar Chevy of David Green. Pretty good gap between Green, LaJoie, and Sadler, but from 4th place on back, we've got a pretty good battle brewing. Here are the leaders. Here's that battle for 4th place. Chad Little in the Pontiac now has his hands full with Jeff Green into turn 1. Once that door is open, Jason Keller gets underneath.
I was watching Chad up here off turn 5. If we carry him that long, you can see it again. It looks like the car has an arrow push. The front end will not stick and it will not turn.
Chad says that's some of the frustration he's had with working with the Pontiac, is not enough down pressure on the nose. So they've been adapting. Remember, he ran a Ford last year and had racked up a string of wins by this time in the season. There's Todd Bodine under pressure from Kevin LePage. Cape Canaveral Cruise Line machine. If you've not seen the papers, Todd Bodine is going into the seat of the McDonald's Ford on the Winston Cup circuit. He's been named the replacement for Bill Elliott while Bill recuperates. So he is really looking forward to next week in Charlotte. Larry Pearson closing in on this group. There's the 92 Stanley Tools car. And Chad Little keeping touch with that group, though he's now in 9th place. The cars don't look that different, Barry, but I guess to the wind tunnel or to the driver on the racetrack, it seems that that Pontiac and the Chevy have a different feel.
You know, we were so excited about that thing last fall originally. The rear window angle is perfect. It's better than a Monte Carlo, and it's just fine. It's hard to find a nose to adapt to it within the dimensions that NASCAR is going to give you, and that's what they've been fighting for. And if you lay the spoiler down on the back, it just unloads the whole car. So they've had their work cut out.
Talked to Chad about that yesterday, about switching from the Ford to the Pontiac, and not seeing the success he had last season?
Well, you got to realize, first of all, we made some big changes over the winter, going from the Ford sheet metal to the Pontiac, and we just have to figure out what the Pontiac needs. It's a good race car. It just doesn't need the same type of a setup that the Ford needed, and you know, all of our notes and records apply to that, and so we have to adapt those to the new body style, and also there seems to be an issue with the amount of front downforce that the Pontiac has compared to the rear. You know, it seems like it does have a lot on the rear, maybe too much on the rear. Let me rephrase that. Not too much on the rear, but not enough on the front. And that way, for that reason, when you open the front up for the race, the car wants to offer a push. So we've had to do things to really free the car up a lot more than we ever anticipated. So we're kind of in a learning cycle right now.
So if you folks think these cars all look the same, let me assure you, trouble in turn one. Hermie Sadler was trying to get around the outside of Dale Shaw. Suzuki is in it as well as the rest of the field fights their way through. Sadler was trying to pass Dale Shaw. Sadler was on the outside. And there just wasn't enough room going into that corner for both cars.
Tough break. Hermie's been sitting there running third.
There is Suzuki, the Japanese driver, in Joe Bessie's car. And it's the 6th caution of the day. And a tough break for Sadler. He and John Munson had that car up into 3rd place. Now the front end damage on Shaw's machine, much as that is from the accident early on that he was involved in. Dale's a former Busch North champion and had the Ocean Spray car running pretty well here. And let's take a break here from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, and we'll come back, have a look at replays with you. David Green continues to lead Randy LaJoie and Jeff Green. If you want to know who starts where, who finished where, and what the point standings are, your 24-hour NASCAR Garage Pass is NASCAR Online on the World Wide Web at NASCAR.com. Before, during, after the race, check it out. Hermie Sadler on pit road. Phil Parsons also making a stop. Mike Stefanik, Curtis Markham, Suzuki, and Dennis Setzer. Mike McLaughlin in as well. There's Hermie's car in the pits. Broken pannard rod, Barry?
Yes, I looked at it going down pit road. It looked like the track bar pannard rod is broken. I would say they cannot fix that car with the laps they got left, only at 75. He's got to be dejected.
Let's show you what happened. Entering turn one, white car on the inside. There's Sadler on the outside. Hard to tell from that angle if one came up or the other came down. And Toshio Suzuki in the 9 caught up in the middle of it. And just aftermath there. Suzuki spun his car to miss the 2 of them. Let's go to Steve.
Yeah, and a dejected Hermie Sadler is here. Hermie, what happened?
Just coming up on a lap car and didn't get any room. The guy waved me to the outside, and they talked about in the driver's meeting, it's tight through that corner, give and take, especially when you got a car going for second and a car that's a lap down. Just can never get the respect I give other people. I don't know why.
Tough break. Hermie came in today 17th in points, and this will drop him further down.
Sadler running very, very well in that DeWalt Chevy. In a solid 3rd place at the time of the incident. 74 laps to go. We'll be right back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Hope at the end of June you're planning to come to Nashville for the TNN Salute to Motorsports at Opryland. For information, call 615-889-6611 weekdays. We're under caution again. A lap after the restart, Jim Bound has given the wall a more than close shave at turn number 3 as he climbs out of the Barbasol Chevrolet. Bit of damage to the left side too. We couldn't tell from our position here in the booth if there was contact leading up to the accident.
Yeah, he's a little upset there. Looks like.
Gets the mandatory ride back. Jim Bound back from after that injury at Nashville. Let's look at the replay. This is the turn 3. Oh yes.
That's why he's upset.
And everybody else checks up.
That could have been a lot worse, Mike, from
yeah.
what we saw earlier.
You have 4 cars in the grass trying to get by. So Jim walked away. He is all right. Not so for his dad Chevrolet up there in the fence. And we're at 130 laps, 70 to go. The left side is jacked up on Dennis Setzer's car and the right side on Mike McLaughlin's. They've both been in for lengthy pit stops and missed this restart. There are 15 cars on the lead lap. David Green, Randy LaJoie, Jeff Green, Kevin LePage having a great run in 4th. Todd Bodine in 5th, Larry Pearson 6th, Chad Little running in 7th. Dick Trickle, after being as far back as 31st, has climbed to 8th. 9th is Glenn Allen, 10th Tommy Houston, 11th is Jeff Purvis, 12th last year's winner Tim Fedewa, 13th is Doug Hevron, 14th is Phil Parsons, 15th that would be Mike Stefanik. Let's also add 1 lap, or add Jason Keller, we're told, is also on the lead lap, as Randy Porter makes a pit stop in the UniFirst Uniforms car. Looking out from Randy's windshield as he heads down pit road at 45 miles an hour, the mandated speed. Mike McLaughlin's also back on track. 1 lap down, Rodney Combs, Patty Moise, Dennis Setzer, Mark Green, Porter, Mike Olson is a lap back. So is Curtis Markham and the 55 of Bobby Daughter. Steve?
Mike, you mentioned Kevin LePage a second ago having a great run in 4th. He started this race in 18th. Hey, we should note this is just his 2nd start with the Ridling Motorsports team. Kevin LePage started the season with his own operation. It was underfunded. Pete Orr was let go from the 88. And again, just their 2nd start. They'll be together for the remainder of the season.
Well, good news and a good start. Tommy Houston's on pit road at 131 laps, 69 to go at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Doubleheader with the NASCAR Modified Featherlight Tour for the fans here in the stands today. We'll be right back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the CoreStates Meridian Advantage 200 on TNN is brought to you by Pep Boys. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price. Tires and service too. Everything but gas. And by Peerless Faucet. Get more out of your faucet than just water.
Getting set to go back to racing. A few more pit stops underway. Mike Dillon, Randy Porter is in. Also Jeff McClure on pit road. And add Curtis Markham to the cars on the lead lap. Scoring update, we now have 17 cars on the lead lap. We'll be in South Boston, Virginia, June 8th with the Busch Grand National Tour here on TNN. And on Friday night, June 7th, there'll be a celebrity charity softball game in Danville, Virginia, Dan Daniels Park. The Busch Grand National drivers will be out to slaughter the media. Can you play softball?
Against the media, yes.
No. We need you. We need help. I got Buddy Baker. He's designated hitter. He's going to whack some home runs, and we're going to have a lot of fun and raise some money for charity for youth athletics in Danville and South Boston.
It's got to make you feel good to help any kind of charity.
Sure. All right, let's get out of Tommy Houston's pit. Here's Steve.
Mike, with Tommy's son, Scott Houston, who has just rejoined the team. Scott, you guys have been on pit road. What's the problem?
He got in a little altercation with another car. I had to pull the front fender out. I was afraid it was going to get black flagged.
How's it feel to be back with your dad's team?
Hey, it feels pretty good. We have all the executives from Suburban Propane here, including the CEO, and those guys are pumped up. We're pumped up, and got a long way to go. He says the car is great.
Well, folks, just to show you, he's only been back a week, so he doesn't have a uniform. It says Leonard Houston.
Yeah, I had to borrow my cousin's uniform.
It'll be like a Mike Ricci's team where they call everybody Harry, including the driver. Clyde McLeod's group was everybody was Harry on that the Sherry Cups team also. A lot of that going on. Lenny Bowler, who owns the championship-winning car in the Modified Tour, has never owned a shirt with Lenny on it. But everybody else.
I've been in that situation.
You can bring a part of your favorite race team into your own home when TNN salutes motorsports at Opryland June 29th. There'll be a memorabilia auction And you can bid on everything from autographed racing tires to crew uniforms, some of which have the right name on them. But all the proceeds will go to the National Arthritis Foundation. For information on the memorabilia auction or the other events at the TNN Salute to Motorsports at Opryland, call 615-889-6611, Monday through Friday. Dick Trickle back up and on the lead lap in 9th place. Having quite a climb here for a fellow who had no practice yesterday and spent the day and the evening in Charlotte racing around. He's had quite a drive toward the front.
A lot of savvy there, and when they pitted, I watched him. I didn't see any major adjustments, and I think it was just the fact of him getting accustomed to the car.
Top 10 looks like this: David Green, Randy LaJoie, Jeff Green, Jason Keller, Kevin LePage in 5th, Todd Bodine, Larry Pearson, Chad Little, Dick Trickle here in 9th place, and Phil Parsons, or excuse me, Glenn Allen in 10th. Rodney Combs right now a lap down to 18th.
Tommy, it's a shame, you know, Tommy had to go to the back of the lead lap cars, and he's got new right side tires, but they're not that new compared to everybody else. So maybe we take a look and see if he can make it back up through there like where he was. He had a great run going.
Hey, give a call to John Munson and the crew of Hermie Sadler's car. They've got him back on the racetrack. Try to pile up some points. Here's Phil Parsons, currently in 14th place. He is on the lead lap. Jim McCulloch, the guy who invented Max race cards, has written a book. It's a lot of fun. How to tell if you're a real race fan. And it's kind of in a Jeff Foxworthy sort of theme as we look for Randy Porter's first uniforms car. The one I found touching, I've done this. You tell people your phone number by Dale, Rusty, Ricky, Jeff, like that. For people that have odd phone numbers, can't remember them, you just line up cars with those numbers. You can remember that. You can remember your phone number.
I've used that trick for years.
Me too.
To remember them, and I think every race fan has, or people in racing.
It's called How to Tell If You're a Real Race Fan, and it'll be in bookstores beginning in July. Should be fun. Best of luck to Jim with that venture. 63 laps to go, and next time by we'll be back under the green flag. 17 cars now on the lead lap, but David Green and Randy LaJoie have been tough all day. Carl Simmons gives them the 1 to go sign from atop the flag stand, and Rodney Combs lines up opposite David Green as the first car 1 lap down. Barry, what's the next stop for you with the trucks?
We'll go to Tucson next week, and then we go to Denver, and back home to Topeka, and then we go to Bristol. Pretty familiar with that, so we're headed back this way.
Barry Dodson got his start at stock car racing at Childress Community College.
Yeah.
Worked for Richard Childress. Moved, I guess, were you full-time or part-time, or just when you could get there?
I was full-time. We had 2 employees, Richard and myself. And, you know, he couldn't pay me, but we had a great time.
Then moved on to Richard Petty College of Higher Learning.
Yeah, University of Randleman, and learned a lot there, and just moved on up.
Okay, let's go to Steve quickly before the restart.
Mike, we've just gotten a report. Todd Bodine has radioed in asking for a relief driver. He's very sick. He has a bad cold. They cannot find anybody. Jeff Fuller has left the track. Let's go back to green flag racing.
Todd Bodine will have to tough it out. He slips inside the lap car of Patty Moise. We are back under green. 61 laps to go. Riding with Dick Trickle, chasing Chad Little. Moving under Patty Moise, who is in 19th place, 1 lap down. Now Purex car.
I think you'll see Dick get by Chad here a little bit.
Oh, around goes the Rent-A-Wreck car. Number 11. Joey McCarthy out of Randolph, New Jersey, making his first Busch start, and he will bring out the caution. Buddy would have a joke for that, but I won't even presume to.
That was sponsored loyalty for sure there.
So caution is out for the 8th time today, and this should be a quick one as McCarthy was able to get going again right away. 59 laps to go at Nazareth. We'll be right back. We're completing our first lap back under green here at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Mike Joy with Barry Dodson and Steve Burns. today on TNN. First 6 cars have cleared the lap machine of Rodney Combs. Now you see Chad Little mowing a little lawn with his John Deere tractor as he gets underneath Combs. And here you're riding with Dick Trickle. Combs is 1 lap down. Trickle is in 9th place. And there's Rodney Combs right behind, staying with the high side to give the lead lap car some room. Now he's slotted in line ahead of Glenn Allen. And Jeff Purvis has moved up into 11th. And again, as they have Barry on every restart, the 2 leaders have been able to take off.
They're strong. They're real strong. You got Randy moving up a little bit. We might get to that in a minute. But Trickle, look for him to keep moving up. It's taken a while to get going here on the restarts. I don't know if he's got air pressure down or what, but he was all over Chad before.
Had him always loose down there in turn 1 and almost lost it. Had a car on the outside of her and cut the car sideways and saved it. Doug Hevron was passing her to the outside. Nice save by Patty. Down the front straightaway with Dick Trickle here underneath the flag stand. And he is not gaining any ground on Chad Little just yet. Turn 2. Rounding out a 3 and into the backstretch. Down the hill here at Nazareth. Back up front. LaJoie begins to put the pressure on once again.
Pressure's on. They got plenty of rubber left. 50 go here now. You can see a heck of a race.
You have David Green, a driver known for his savvy and his patience. His record at finishing races pretty much unequaled in this series. He is the point leader and pole sitter. This man, Randy LaJoie, in 74, 4 second-place finishes in Busch competition. Hickory, 1989. Talladega and Darlington in 93, and Hickory in 94. But he is still hungry for that first win in this series.
Birdie made some good adjustments at turn 5, and that's a place you need to run good. You can see Randy get in the corner better than David and still be able to turn and almost beat him off. That's where he's making his time.
All right, we'll see that down here as they come down the backstretch to turn 4.
All right, there it is. Now watch this.
Here's turn 5.
Inching up on him.
Right there. They're about 4 feet apart as they go across the apron of turn 1. And they're running away from 3rd place Jeff Green. David Green is not one to use up his car.
No, he's smart. I talked to him a long time yesterday. Probably the longest I ever have. A lot of knowledge there. And, you know, anybody can have a bad season, but to snap back from that and have the kind of year he's having is pretty phenomenal.
David Green driving Buzz McCall, Butch Enders, the crew chief. Kirk Shelmerdine involved there. And here's 3rd place on back. Youngest of the 3 brothers, Jeff Green. And the good wrench number 3, Jason Keller. New daddy.
New daddy, yeah.
And Kevin LePage.
Good run for LePage.
Yes. Very good. His previous best year was only about 17th place, so.
Chad's gotten a little better than he had been.
All right, here's LaJoie, where he's good on this racetrack. Does he drop the nose under? Yes, he does, as David Green's car wiggles just a bit. Here's LaJoie diving in for the lead, and you saw David Green lift off the gas early for turn 1.
That's because he's leading the points, and that's what air pressure will do for you. We call it air pressure down south.
But in New Hampshire, see, Birdie spent a lot of years with Ron Bouchard.
Yeah, he did.
Yep, air pressure.
You see Randy gets in there really good. The thing cuts. That's the same as putting more spring rate, more split in the back. If it holds up.
Well, that'll be the question. Can Randy LaJoie keep the car under himself for 46 laps here?
They've really driven away.
Oh, yeah, 3rd place is no place as far as this duo is concerned. Look at the interval here. Way back, almost half the backstretch.
Yeah, and that's a great race, too.
Todd Bodine with an upper respiratory infection. He has just not been able to shake this cold. He says usually on a hot day, a couple hours in the race car will drain his sinuses. He says that doesn't even happen. He is not feeling well. Let's show you again what happened. And take a look as they come down the front straightaway. You can see where David Green lifts and lets Randy LaJoie slide under so as not to give up the whole corner.
He knows Randy's all over him, and he knows Randy's going to pass him. He doesn't want him to hit him to pass him, and he's going to hope right now Randy uses up his tires.
And you know, too, Barry, this is how a lot of drivers say they drive this place like a road course. If this was a banked oval, you'd both go in there side by side and see who gets out first.
Right.
But on a road course, somebody dives into the corner, give him the corner, see if you can beat him or stay with him coming out.
Right, and you can do that here. It's good and tight, but there's still a lot of room.
44 laps to go. Randy LaJoie seeks his first ever Busch Grand National victory. David and Jeff Green, Jason Keller trailing. We'll be right back. Just up the road from Nazareth in Branchville, New Jersey is Cedar Ridge RV Center, featuring Winnebago motorhomes like the one that TNN uses to get up and down the highway. Call 1-800-988-4884 and you'll see why Cedar Ridge is the choice of champions. 41 laps to go. Randy LaJoie has 2 car lengths on David Green. Not a lot of distance, but he's steadily been opening it up.
David's watching him right now, hoping he'll use his tires up.
And Dick Trickle's been coming through the field. He just put a pass there on Larry Pearson. And Dick Trickle moves up to 7th place.
Just took him a while to get woke up, that's all.
Well, he was as far back as 31st in the early going.
He was. He had a long night, or a short night, coming from Charlotte, and got accustomed to the car, and here he goes.
Drives past it's not the Rent-A-Wreck, it's the Rent-A-Wreck sponsored car. I'll get it. Number 11 of Joey McCarthy. Boy, he is closing fast.
Yes. He's Todd's not going to give him a hard time either. He feels too bad.
There's the Bobby Jones owned car. Jeff McClure on board, the number 50. That's a couple of laps down, 4 laps down. Strickle flashes past.
Yeah. First time here for Jeff. He's struggling, and I told him just act like you're running from the cops. That's the way you run. That's the way you run a road course the first time you go to it. That's what we used to tell Rusty, and he'll get better.
I think you're right. Barry Dodson won a couple of Winston Cup championships with Richard Petty and helped guide Rusty Wallace to his championship season as well. And this year works with Mike Bliss on the Craftsman Truck Series, where they are that circuit's most recent winners. Later today, Ed Kennedy will be on the pole for the modified race here. Jan Leedy, the Spring Sizzler winner outside. Reggie Ruggiero, Mike Ioannidze, champion Tony Hirschman, and Steve Hart on the front 6. Mike Stefanik is the only driver here doing double duty in both races, as Doug Hevron in the Food Country Ford slows in the back straightaway. Mike Olson moves around.
Yeah, he had been 15th, I believe.
Now, Trickle had a busy day being at the Winston Select, being here. Reggie Ruggiero had a busy night as well. He qualified as modified here, went up to Riverside Park to drive for Bill Pelly. Didn't make the feature, 100-lap feature. Tom Rosati started the car, lap 74, caution flag. Rosati comes in. They put 4 tires and Reggie in the car. He comes from the back and in 24 laps wins the feature.
Yeah, and if you know Reggie, that's not hard to believe.
No, it's not.
Great driver.
Quite a drive. David Green is caught back up to Randy LaJoie. He's not going to let him get away here with 36 laps to go. And they have the whole front straightaway separating them from Jeff Green, Jason Keller, Kevin LePage, Todd Bodine, and Dick Trickle has caught that second group. There are your leaders working some traffic. And let's pick up this second pack, because this battle is going to get good here in a second. There's
That's
Jeff
a good
Green.
race.
And you see Trickle has now caught Todd Bodine. Leaders out of turn 1.
I'll think David's going to be able to make a move, whether he can get back by him or not, but I think he can get to him.
We'll find out. 34 laps to go. Randy LaJoie, David Green, Jeff Green, Jason Keller, and Kevin LePage, the front five. We're at Nazareth. We'll be right back. Caution is out. The Joe Bessie car, Toshio Suzuki, Saitama, Japan. 41-year-old driver making his Busch debut, has brought out the caution and lost the left front of the car.
He now has a three-wheeler.
A three-wheeled Suzuki.
Yes.
Don't get me started. He's okay. He's about to climb out. Knocked the whole left front corner off it.
Brake hose is hanging out.
Yep. And you can say he is okay, but Joe Bessie's Chevrolet is not.
No, it didn't.
So that'll be caution number 9. And we have 28 laps to go. So it's going to get a little more interesting here. We'll see if Randy LaJoie has enough to hold off David Green when we come back. Welcome back to Nazareth. 26 laps to go as they hook up Suzuki's number 9 to the wrecker. And we'll get set for the restart. A number of lead lap cars made pit stops. We'll update that in a moment. Here's what happened.
Oh, what a feeling.
Oh, jeez. Hard hit with the left front of that car. Today's AutoZone Tech Fact is brought to you by the more than 1,300 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Barry?
4 or 5 years ago, it was give me 3 rounds of wedge, 4 rounds of wedge. It doesn't work anymore. The reason? A radial tire. It's got a belt. Here's a perfect example. Here's your radial right here on the racetrack. Here's your old bi-ply tire. Here at Nazareth, a right front spring that's very common in a car or maybe even a truck is like a 900-pound spring rate. Put 2 more pounds of air in that right front tire, all of a sudden with a radial, because it won't compress because of the inertia of the belt that acts like a spring, you got a 950. That's the way you make a chassis adjustment with a radial tire.
A lot of those adjustments made today to compensate for cool overcast weather for practice and qualifying and a hot sunny day for the race. They have pushed the dial Pure X4 to Patty Moise behind the wall and back to the garage area. Let's check in Dick Trickle's pit. Here's Steve.
With Brian Schaefer, who is Dick Trickle's crew chief. Brian, you guys have really gotten this car hooked up. You've got 25 laps to go. Can he get to the front?
I think we're pretty good right now. I don't know if we can get all the way to the front. We've come from the back and we wore our tires out pretty good, but we're going to give her a shot.
What is Dick saying? Does he like the way the car feels right now?
Dick said we're just a little bit loose now, and we started out we were way too tight, so we went a little bit too far in the adjustments, but door loop Chevrolet has been running good.
Tom Peck qualified and practiced that car yesterday as Chad Little makes a pit stop. Now under this caution, lead lap cars, Jeff Purvis, Tommy Houston, Phil Parsons, Curtis Markham, and Doug Hevron have made pit stops. Now Chad Little gives up 10th place to come in. He will drop to 16th. The last car on the lead lap, according to our unofficial count. Kelly Moore and Hermie Sadler are also in.
Looks like 4 tires, not a bad move. He can give up the track position because he was fading back anyway.
Unbelievable the difference from last season when Chad ran the Ford to this season. He has not, I don't believe, had a top 10 finish this year. And so now we'll come out 16th, hoping in these last 23, 22 laps of green flag racing to be able to post that first top 10. One to go next time by. The Busch Series heads for Charlotte next week, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Check in Wednesday, race Saturday.
Yep, we're back in the desert.
Yes, out of Tucson. That's a great racetrack, Barry. You're going to love Tucson Raceway Park. I'll give you my restaurant list. Buddy and I put together quite a list from Winter Heat there a couple of years ago.
I know Buddy had a good one, and I'm looking forward to going. It's going to be hot. This is the first hot weather we've had up here.
Getting set for the restart. Randy LaJoie looking for his first ever Busch Grand National win. David Green right behind him as we move up in line with Randy Porter. We get set for this restart. It's LaJoie, Green and Green, David and Jeff. Jason Keller in 4th, Dick Trickle as far back as 31st. He is now up to 5th. Kevin LePage in 6th. 7th will be Todd Bodine. 8th, Larry Pearson. 9th, last year's winner Tim Fedewa. And 10th, Glenn Allen, the leading rookie. 11th, Tommy Houston. These are all cars that pitted. Jeff Purvis, Phil Parsons. As we get set for the restart.
Good restart.
Boy, Green is locked right underneath Randy LaJoie as they go to turn 1. You're riding with Trickle as he sweeps up high. Can't take advantage of Jason Keller, and they move under Rodney Combs, who has been the first car 1 lap down for quite some time. He is 17th. There's Trickle moving past as you ride with Rodney Combs. Turn 4. Front 7 cars, single file, lead lap.
It's going to get good.
22 to go. And this time, Jeff Green is right with them. There is no breakaway by those first 2 cars.
Yeah, Randy's been pushing up a little bit off turn 4. He needs to keep that car down. That's where David's gaining on him.
Off 5 and down the front straightaway. LaJoie looking for his first career win. Green looking for his 5th. And don't forget Jeff Green right there has never won on this circuit. This caution flag has put him in contention.
That was a better job that time through turn 5 for Randy.
All right, so that's what you tell Randy LaJoie. Now, if you were on David Green's radio as crew chief,
I would say work him. I'd say work him, get out of his mirror so he doesn't know where you are. If I've got Randy, I'd say, Randy, use the brakes to slow the car down. Don't drive in too hard and protect the body.
turn 4 right on the bottom and up here into 5. Big, long, high sweep of a corner.
He's got his rhythm back now.
Yep. Tim Fedewa just got past Larry Pearson at turn 1. That'll change 8th place on the board. David Green, first victory at Dublin, Virginia, 1991. 1994 at Bristol. Last year at Nashville, this year at Hickory. Looking for win 5. There's Trickle just ahead of Jason Keller now. And Kevin LePage. Trickle up to 4th place. That's the drive of the day in my book.
He is a great driver. He filled in at Team 3 for us for about 10 races, and it's amazing what he can do with a race car. He has so much savvy and experience.
LaJoie is pulling away and may leave the Green brothers to fight for second spot. Turn 1, 4 cars are in it. Make that 7.
And the track's blocked too right now.
And a couple of them may drive away. Mike Olson,
McClure.
McCarthy. Is that Hermie Sadler again?
No, it's there's McClure driving away.
Tom Bowles is in it. Kelly Moore, the Busch North champion, and Randy Porter are the cars involved. And Randy LaJoie will lead them down the grass and onto the warm-up lane to get past. The whole front end is torn from Tom Bowles' car. He's sitting in, moving around. Randy LaJoie has also dropped the window net. That's the indication of the safety crews that the driver is okay. And the rescue workers over talking with Kelly Moore. And again, Moore took a hard hit from the outside. Let's look at the replay and show you what happened. Somebody gets into the back of Sadler and the 50 car, and there's Porter. Now those 3 cars, one spins to the bottom, a 4th car in. Here comes the second group. Tom Bowles, the white car, spins to the side and in, and Kelly Moore comes in from the outside. Now let me explain to you why the second part of this wreck happened after we see this angle from coming out of turn 1. There's the 50 car getting turned around. Jeff McClure, Sadler. Now you see this second impact where Bowles comes in and spins his white car, comes in there, and Kelly Moore is in as well. I don't believe we have a camera angle to show you this, but the position of those cars is just past the end of pit road as you look at it from the top of the grandstand where the spotters sit. There's a second group of spotters past the bridge, but that area entering turn 1 is kind of blind even to the spotters at both locations. So it's a very difficult spot for the spotters to call to the cars that are coming into that area. There you can see spotters up at the top of that grandstand. And let's show you from Randy Porter's view what he drove into. Ooh. 2 cars were side by side. The 50 car got down, got a little loose, and lifted off the throttle. Sadler was on the throttle, got into him. Porter got into him. Just a chain reaction collision. There's Tom Bowles climbing out, the Ellington, Connecticut driver who got his first Busch North win last year at Stafford Springs, Connecticut. He is okay. Was a little woozy climbing out, but he's got a cold towel around his neck. He's all right. Mike McLaughlin, also involved in that incident, has gone behind the wall. One of those freight train chain reaction collisions brings out the caution.
Today's exclusive coverage of the CoreStates Meridian Advantage 200 on TNN is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. And by Rain Soft Water Treatment Equipment. Quality water for you and your family that's dependable by nature.
Cleanup continues as commercial transportation for our telecast is provided by Ryder, the official transportation company of Opryland. There are the spotters at the top of Section D in the Turn 5 grandstand, the brand new high-rise grandstand that'll be extended along more of Nazareth Speedway. And you'll see what blocked their view from the accident site is the scoring pylon. It's a direct line of sight from the spotter's perch through that pylon. You cannot see this part of the exit of Turn 1. And likewise, the bridge at Turn 2 blocks the view of the spotters down in that grandstand from this area. There's the bridge. They can't see through that, so it's kind of a blind spot from both angles. That's kind of why there was the secondary collision. The spotters could not warn the drivers in time what was there. The 50 car checked up. Sadler got into him. Porter got into him. There's Mike Dillon, 72. Olson spinning to the inside. McLaughlin checks up here, but Tom Bowles piles into McLaughlin, and so does Kelly Moore. We've talked all day, Barry, about how narrow that racetrack gets when even just one car gets sideways.
Yeah, and it looks like a corner there, but what happens at this racetrack, after you cross the start-finish line, you get back on the gas. So Bowles and those guys coming in were like full speed.
Listen to Randy Porter's car. You'll see here he's on the throttle when this happens. felt that up here. You're just getting back into the throttle. You could hear Hermie's car ahead on the throttle. Randy just starting to get back into it. But the 50 car had gotten a little loose and out of the gas. And when you're that close, that's what happens. A little bit of sweeping going down in turn 1. We are going to get this race back under green. There are 10 laps to go. Now, Barry, they went down to the warm-up lane from the racetrack to get around the incident.
Right. If I'm Birdie right now, we're telling Randy, okay, you're on the warm-up lane. They've drug in a bunch of cars today from this crash fest. There's nuts, bolts, washers out there, a lot of radial tire rubber. As you leave the pits, you got to really, really look for it, stay out of that stuff. And when you get back on the racetrack, you got to really work hard on cleaning your tires up to get a good restart.
That's just what he's been doing, is scrubbing those tires back and forth to clean them of rubber and debris. Let's go to the second place cars pit. Here's Steve.
Mike with Kirk Shelmerdine, who's a team consultant. Kirk ran 4th at Charlotte last night in ARCA race. Got here at 11 o'clock this morning. Crew chief Butch Enders and team owner Buzz McCall are both spotting. So, Kirk, the pressure, I guess, is on you to answer the question. Can you get around the 74 of Randy LaJoie?
Well, they're pretty strong today. I think we kind of got the second best car, but David's trying everything he can to try to take advantage of a traffic situation or something like that. He's pretty good at that kind of thing. We'll just sort of have to stand here and watch and see how it goes.
Has David said that whether or not he thinks he can get by him?
No, he doesn't know. You know, if you get an opening, you go for it. If you don't get one, you wait till next week. But he's doing the best he can. And from watching the whole race today, it appears we're just a little bit off of them speed-wise or gear-wise or something. But he's doing the best he can.
Thanks, Kirk.
A little damage to the nose of LaJoie's car you saw there as we get set for the restart. We're under 10 laps to go. This will be a single file restart. See if we can get one to go out of Carl Simmons on the flag stand this time. He's looking up at the tower like, how about it? See if cleanup is complete. And we're going to go another lap or so.
And it's not just the 2 cars up front. I mean, we got a heck of a race going on all the way back to Todd Bodine.
And Dick Trickle is up to 4th. From as far back as 31st, Trickle's best Busch Series finish, 2nd at Charlotte in 1990 and 1991 if you ride in the Duraloop Chevy. The other drive of the day, I talked to Todd Bodine this morning, and he has got a bad sinus condition and congestion, and the fact that he's been able to hang on to that car and keep it up in the top 7 spots speaks volumes for this young fella's dedication. Turn 1, Hermie Sadler. A lot of smoke from the back of that car. I believe whatever they used to hold the rear end in place has broken yet again.
It's a broken Panhard bar again. That's 2 in one day, and they're getting him off right now. And Hermie's just trying to make laps and get some points, and he did the right thing right there. He was starting to spread some rubber down.
He's in the garage. See how far the left thing looks like a modified. The rear end so offset to the left, or the body to the right, or take your pick. But these cars rely on that Panhard rod to locate the rear left to right. Broke it once, as you saw underneath the car, and now again. 1 to go. We will finish this under green, or at least we'll restart to finish this under green and see what happens.
This is going to be great.
There are now 7 laps to go. Randy LaJoie driving for Bill Bumgarner and the team that won the championship with Johnny Benson last year. Base Motorsports, FINA the sponsor. Buzz McCall's American Equipment Racing. David Green at the wheel. And right after this telecast, we'll be going to Ontario for the Sunoco Ultra 94 Trans Am race. Buzz McCall owns the Sunoco Camaro in that race that you'll see next year on TNN Motorsports. Ron Fellows the driver. So we'll have 6 laps to settle this out.
Okay, you see them clean their tires off.
And you got a few veteran short trackers at the front. There's no short tracker more veteran than Dick Trickle for your average Saturday night shootout. It'll go 6 laps. Everybody's on their feet. Can Randy LaJoie hold off David Green? We're about to find out. Pace car is in. Green flag. Single file restart. Tommy Houston think caught Larry Pearson there, missing a gear or napping and grabbed a spot. We're with Dick Trickle, 4th place. Whoa! Sideways was David Green, and everybody had to check up. Green must not have gotten his tires cleaned off. LaJoie down to block. Green on the bottom. Can't make the pass.
Turn 5 right here for Randy's going to decide it. Get it down, get it down, get it down.
Way up high is LaJoie. Here comes David Green, and LaJoie slams the door in his face. 5 laps to go.
4 or 5 laps up here in turn 5 to get his rhythm back, to get the car low. He's got to continue to do that to beat David.
David Green trying to get up and under Randy LaJoie and loosen him up. Back straight away. 4 circuits left. Jeff Green in 3rd, Trickle in 4th. David Green puts the pressure on. And this time LaJoie holds a tight line off turn 5.
Getting better. Tires paying off for Tommy Houston.
Yes, Tommy Houston has climbed up into the top 10, and so has Chad Little. That stop, 1 caution to go for tires, has paid off. Chad Little hoping to post his first top 10 of the year.
Okay, Randy. Get her boat down.
He's up high again at turn 5. Here comes David.
You can't hear me.
If only you could talk to him. Tommy Houston putting the Todd Bodine now. That'll be for 7th spot. 3 laps to go. Boy, Green had the car hung out that time coming off turn 3. Off turn 5 once again. David Green right in his tire tracks this time. 2 laps to go. 3rd place battle. Trickle all over Jeff Green. And Jason Keller's right there. And so is Kevin LePage. And Tommy Houston is going to run out of time, but he is closing fast. Backstretch. Through 4 and off turn 5. Randy LaJoie faces the white flag. Last lap, and he has 2 car lengths now on David Green.
He's got a lot of motor, too. You can see it up the backstretch.
Houston has passed Kevin LePage. Pulled Tommy Houston up into 6th place. What a drive. This is it, folks. David Green, the point leader, thinking championship, pulls up to within a car length of Randy LaJoie. If LaJoie can just hold it down off turn number 5, he'll win his first Busch Grand National race. David Green in 2nd, retains the point lead. Jeff Green in 3rd, Dick Trickle in 4th, Jason Keller 5th, and up to 6th, Tommy Houston.
Boy, that's a happy bunch down there.
I love a first-time winner. I don't much care who it is, but when somebody gets the first one, that is pretty good. Randy LaJoie with Steve Bird. His dad, Don LaJoie, is in that pit, a many-time modified champion. Birdie with his arm in the air, and so too our winning driver, Randy LaJoie. Jeff Green pulls up to congratulate, and we'll be right back.
Universal Luxury Bands, the official bands of tracks, teams, and drivers throughout the NASCAR world. Call 1-800-445-2825 for a dealer near you.
Today's exclusive coverage of the CoreStates Meridian Advantage 200 on TNN has been brought to you by Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. And by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right.
Well, after a fling at Winston Cup Racing and several years in the Busch Grand National Circuit, the pride of Norwalk, Connecticut, Randy LaJoie has made it to victory lane. Quick look at the rundown. LaJoie, the winner. David Green, the point leader. 2nd, Jeff Green. 3rd, Dick Trickle. 4th, Jason Keller. 5th. 6th, the Tommy Houston. 7th, Kevin LePage. 8th, Tim Fedewa, last year's winner. 9th was Chad Little, and Todd Bodine hung in there for 10th. Quick look at the finish. Chad Little and Todd Bodine transposed there to make them 9th and 10th. Glenn Allen, another good run for the rookie. Phil Parsons, Purvis, Mike Stefanik, the first Busch North finisher. And look on down through the list. These last few cars ended up on the hook at the end of the day. Steve Burns in victory lane.
Randy LaJoie, man, I know a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this victory. How does it feel?
I know what took me so long. I can't say enough for this Base Motorsports, FINA, all our associate sponsors, Goodyear, K-Tech Engines. Finally, put me in a victory lane. I've been close a lot of times, and just never seemed to get there. You know, today we beat David Green. He's probably the best Busch driver around right now. This team was the best last year. We're gonna get back to that form, and the only way to win the points is to beat that 95 car. And we did it today. We were really good on long runs. I really didn't want to see those caution flags. But, you know, Steve Bird and the guys here in Base Motorsports, again, they just gave me a great race car. And, you know, my dad, my family, I did something that my dad always told me to do. Late in the race, you flip the mirror up and don't even worry about the guys behind you. And I did that, and it sure did work. You know, but once again, you know, the tires were really good. The Goodyear tires were great. I got in the back of a lap car there for a little while. But other than that, I had a great day. It's been a great day for me, and thank God it's a good safety.